Welcome into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I appreciate you listening to the program. Today is a Tuesday. It is the 5th day of May in the year of our Lord 2026. I hope you're having a great morning. I hope the last 21 hours have gone well as well. So Big Sky Mountain Mosley is also with us, and I want to wish you a happy Jubilee version of Cinco de Mayo.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Yo quiero muchos tacos.
Yes. What are we celebrating exactly besides pretending to be Mexican? Clear
Drinking.
On this.
That's what we do. We base our holidays, a lot of our holidays, since we've tried to scrub out Christmas and Easter, the ones we adopt from other cultures are based on drinking.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's why we have St. Patrick's Day,
right,
Cinco de Mayo, that sort of thing. But the reason I say it is a year of Jubilee is because this year, Cinco de Mayo occurs on a Taco Tuesday.
Oh, it is the
double
daily double. Wow.
It's the double. Yeah. It is the double duty taco Cinco de Mayo. And what was the thing? Cinco de Mayo is not even Mexican Independence Day, is it?
I don't think so.
I think it's like the day they beat the French.
Snake. No, they beat the snake on the rock. It's on the flag.
They beat the snake on the rock. They killed the snake on the rock.
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
It commemorates the Mexican Army's unlikely victory over the French at the Battle of Puebla.
The French?
Yeah, I mean, you know how sad that is? If you have a holiday for beating the French, you know who doesn't have a holiday for beating the French?
The Americans?
The Germans.
Oh, boy.
I'm not even sure the Germans even celebrated beating the French. I mean, the French almost welcomed the Germans. Have y'all seen those pictures, by the way?
I have.
That's amazing.
Yes. For sale. French military rifle. Never used. Dropped once. Okay.
That's not true. No, I was about to say. I was going to say the French would not drop a rifle that someone else purchased. They would lay it down nicely as they retreated.
I'm just reading what I saw on the warning.
You know, that's why they have all those white tablecloth diners.
Yeah.
In case they have to surrender at the spur of a moment.
Yeah, you know those snooty French waiters? You know how to get their attention?
Wave a white flag.
Order in German. Snap right to.
Gosh almighty. Yeah, so Cinco de Mayo is celebrating the victory over the French in 1862. Now, listen to this. While relatively minor in Mexico, it is a major celebration of Mexican-American heritage in the United States. Did y'all hear what I said?
I heard it.
So the Mexicans in Mexico don't make a big deal out of Cinco de Mayo, but the Mexicans in America, which goes back to what did I say at the start? Why do we celebrate this?
It's an excuse to get drunk.
It is a drinking holiday, eating, drinking holiday.
Goodness.
Mexican Independence Day is September the 16th, not Cinco de Mayo. Now, guess where they beat? I wonder where this really happened at.
I'm kind of interested in this because there was a lot going on in 1862 in North America, and I see the French were occupied apparently south of the border.
It says outnumbered and poorly equipped Mexican troops led by General Ignacio Zaragoza defeated the French army at Puebla de Los Angeles. A victory that became a symbol of Mexican resistance to foreign domination. Did y'all know that I watched a whole thing on Mexico and the Aztecs and this when even the Mexicans started talking about oppression and getting back to their heritages and all this kind of stuff, and this this desire to make the Aztecs the basically the oppressed, that it was the Spaniards that came in and then the Spanish defeated the Aztecs, and since it was all horrible and everybody had to be opposed to colonialism, that eventually, I think it was in the 50s or 60s, maybe the 60s, they began to pine for the Aztec Empire and make the Spanish the bad guys. Very similar in the fashion that the English were made into the bad guys in North America. They did the same kind of thing. They're doing the same kind of thing all over the globe. But the history of Mexico and how the dynamics occurred when the Spanish showed up, and then the Spanish fighting the Aztecs, and people are, people who think about this. I thought about this when I was young, Sky. People think, well, how do you get enough Spanish guys? I don't care if they had some horses. I don't care if they had armor. I don't care if they had some muskets, single shot muskets. You can't defeat thousands upon thousands of warriors pouring out of the jungle like fire ants. Scott, could you call me? I'm taking a literary approach to this. I'm not saying that the Aztecs were fire ants. I'm trying to paint the picture of thousands of people attacking Spanish conquistadors. I don't care if they had armor on. I don't care if they had muskets. These warriors were vicious, were brave, had fought many, many battles. They don't care if the guy beside them dies. They're still coming. You don't beat an empire with just a few guys in armor. So how did that occur? Well, apparently not many people have asked that question historically, at least not normal people. That's just the story we're always told, Sky. We're told like, hey, these guys got off the boats and just marched across the central part of Mexico and just whipped everybody, 200 guys, just wiping out thousands. And that is not the truth. What happened was untold numbers of other peoples, other tribes who had been terrorized, who had been abducted, who had been enslaved, who had been sacrificed, human sacrifices, tribes who had to provide certain numbers of their children to the Aztecs so the Aztecs could sacrifice them to their pagan gods, said, you know what? I think we're going to help these Spanish guys in their shiny costumes. I think if they want to go whip the Aztecs, you know what? We'll help them whip the Aztecs. The history of what the Aztecs were doing in Mexico is astounding. Well, Scott Beason, that was just written by the Spaniards. Well, it might have been recorded by the Spaniards, but many of the stories and what was going on came from the people who were there, who were oppressed, who would say, hey, you know what they did? You know what they do? And then somehow we have glamorized the Aztecs. Now here's where it blends with today, Scott. It occurred to me when I watched this. If you look at the Aztecs, their culture, and there are descendants of the Aztecs. The Aztecs weren't a huge number of people. I don't know if they had killed themselves off as well, but they were violent and tough enough to rule. Think about the cartels in Mexico and the things that you see them, how the crazy satanic looking tattoos, etc., that they have, and how brutal they are, and how they are ruling in that country again. I tend to think that is the rebirth of the Aztec Empire in the cartels. Modern. Just my thoughts. So happy Cinco de Mayo to you. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you. Look, I am not knocking Cinco de Mayo. I think it's a fun day. And yes, it's Taco Tuesday at the same time, which is a double whammy. Like I said, the Jubilee. I just find these things fascinating because I know there are people who listen to the show who have to, because they have to monitor what we say here to report to elected officials and people like that. And some of them are kind of left-leaning, and they'll be like, oh, how dare Scott Beason is making fun of Hispanic heritage, which is why I go to the computer and say it is a minor deal in Mexico.
Right. That's living proof.
It has been made a big deal in the United States, which means it has been crafted. It is created. It was made. And then you're supposed to say, oh, no, I'm all for it because I stand with the heritage of other. Look, I'm for a special day.
Yeah, I'm going to have a taco and a Cinco and show signal of virtue.
Yeah,
well, you've only insulted 2 or 3 ethnic groups so far today. So,
have I already?
Yeah, it's an average day. For those of you scoring at home.
It's still early.
It's not even 9:30 yet, so.
Yeah, is there a Cinco de Mayo drinking game for take a drink every time Scott has insulted somebody, a different ethnic group?
There is now.
Today. Well, we're gonna have some more.
And in honor of Cinco de Mayo, it will be tequila. Okay.
Is that what we're gonna do? Tequila. Is tequila have a worm in it?
You can get the.
What is the point of that? Is that a real thing, like to help the flavor, or was the worm put in there on accident because they didn't have very high hygiene standards at one time?
I used to know all this, but I can tell you the worm is supposed to have kind of psychedelic qualities.
Oh, really?
Like psilocybin or something.
Is it a special kind of worm?
Yes.
All right. What is the deal? We'll get that while Billy's...
I used to know why the worm was in there in the first place. I knew all about tequila, but I quit drinking, Scott, so I erased all that. The tequila
caused you not to be able to remember it anymore?
No, that's not it. I just blanked it out. I needed the space.
Okay.
Very busy.
You had a 32 gig hard drive in your head and
there's only
needed
so
some
much
space. Got too many photos.
Tequila information banished.
Listen to this.
Deleted.
This cannot be true, Sky. I'm telling you, we must live in a parallel universe. This is going to bother you. This is as bad as burn the boats. Maybe worse.
No.
The worm in tequila is a widespread myth.
Yeah.
It is actually found in mezcal, not tequila.
That's it.
Known as gusano de maguey, or the agave larva, it acts as a 20th century marketing tactic to signify inauthentically a pure or strong spirit rather than a traditional ingredient. It is sometimes eaten for good luck, a dare, or its supposed flavor. Primarily introduced in the 1940s and 50s by producers to differentiate mezcal from tequila and make it more appealing to American tourists.
We've been suckered again.
Marketing again.
Yeah, so there's your Cinco de Mayo. There's your mezcal, tequila.
You don't even get a worm in your tequila for Cinco de Mayo.
Well, you've ruined Cinco de Mayo. I guess.
God.
Let's
Go to Billy. Maybe Billy will help us. It's already 9:28. We destroyed the whole day. Billy, welcome to the program, and I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you.
There's Billy.
Billy.
In. Okay.
Hello, Billy.
Well.
¿Cómo está? Billy.
Going.
Hola.
Everything's lit up. Let's move on.
Let's go to Soldier Boy. He'll talk about Cinco de Mayo probably, because that's what we're doing on the show. Welcome to the program, Soldier Boy.
He lit right up.
Who cares, man?
I do. I need something to make me smile. I'm going to get some beef brisket tacos.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Smarty. What happened on March 30th, 1981?
I'm not going to look in the computer.
Don't tell 'em.
March 30th, 19. Why? I don't know why I'm talking about March the 30th, 1981. What? You know how old I was? 11. I was 12.
I got this one.
What you got?
The Reagan assassination attempt, I think. Correct?
Is that Reagan?
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
You know, what's funny, what's iconic about this is, the conspiracy of this whole issue is that the attempted shooting on Trump and his cabinet was in the same hotel.
Was it really?
The Hinckley Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call it on the side.
Huh.
Now it's, yeah.
Hey, have y'all seen the video of the shooter coming out of the little room? So there's a like a security guard or somebody who apparently talks to him, sees him, goes in the room, and then he comes running out. Now this is sexist. This will be the fourth group I've insulted already this morning. Did you see the women security people? Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
They all ran.
They skedaddled out of there.
They ran.
Well, one of them tripped.
Well, she was trying to run. That's even worse, Sky. Why would you say that?
I'm just trying to get in the spirit of the day.
Yeah.
She was a little healthy, too, wasn't she? The one who tripped. Sorry, Soldier Boy. Go ahead.
I accept your apology. Thank you. Scott, here's the strange thing about it. First of all, day one when he shows up for his arraignment, his attorney, his defense attorney, tells the judge that he should be allowed and given bail because he's never committed a crime before.
He's got a clean slate.
Man, I tell you,
it gets worse.
DC. And remember who the district attorney is in that district, don't you? Judge, was it Paneer? What her name is from Fox News?
Yes, but she has a terrible time because it's in D.C. And I saw that the judge is whining because the conditions in the jail are not good enough for the assassin.
She apologized to the attempted assassin.
He wants organic food or the health food, and he's not getting what he wants. And he's telling the defense attorney, saying the conditions are too bad, too rough. They're padded cells. They've got security. They don't want somebody to hang themselves with bed sheets again, like, certain individual who mysteriously died, and killed himself. They want to keep this guy alive. But it's just simply amazing. The conditions are too rough. He doesn't want any bail because he's got a clean slate. And he just happens to do the shooting the same location where bad karma or bad juju is going on for presidents. If I would have been Trump and told me that Hinckley attempted to assassinate, the President Reagan there, I would say we'll have it at a Hotel Inn or a Holiday Inn or a Days Inn. We're not having it there.
He's trying to build a ballroom so that they could improve
They could have had a secure facility to have such a thing.
Thank you. Yeah.
And the Secret Service, I hate to say, did you see when he dropped his gun and he got his knee and started shooting? Well, first of all, I hate to say it. I'm not the world's greatest marksman by any means, but I can drop you within 50 yards, with a weapon, Okay. My question
Can
is,
you drop? Can you shoot me with 50 yards with a pistol?
Oh, absolutely.
50 yards?
Pretty good, man.
That's pretty strong, Soldier Boy.
or 50 feet. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, 50
I'm sorry,
feet. 50 feet. Okay, all right. I'm just
50
making
feet.
sure we're.
50, yeah, 50.
But still, that's still good.
But here's my question: is
Mhm.
all those guys drew the gun, shot at him. You can see the muzzle fires, okay, and you didn't hit him.
We don't do a lot of training, okay? I mean, look, if you got a federal government who's opposed to guns, you just don't. Why didn't somebody tackle him? He ran through the metal detector.
That's
He's
what
in
I
a
wanted to
hallway
say.
this big.
I tell you, Scott, if it had been me or you, we could have tackled him. I hate to say it.
No, you're absolutely right, Soldier Boy. You and I would have tackled him.
And they're younger. They're twice as young as us, Scott. Okay.
Yes.
And you tell me they can't? They could not have jumped him and tripped him. Even put a foot leg out and tripped him.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
any fifth grade boy in elementary school would have easily leg swept him and tripped him.
So it's just amazing. That
Hey, we got to
they
take a
wanna
break.
get
We'll
him
carry
off.
you over, Soldier Boy. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Hey, do not forget, donut. Hey, I had a donut this morning, by the way. I'm confessing. I don't know. I got maple bacon for Cinco de Mayo.
Perfect.
And then
Sure that
the
fits with
sirens who run the bakery, two elderly ladies who I always talk about the sirens call, the siren song that draws. Is it Ulysses that was drawn in by the sirens? Is it Ulysses that strapped himself to the mast?
Yes, Homer's Ulysses.
Is it
as I
from the Iliad
recall.
or the Odyssey?
Yes.
The Odyssey.
Odyssey.
And yes, those two ladies are like sirens, and they've called the ship of my car over there to get a donut, and then they basically bullied me into a cinnamon roll as well.
They
That is
twist your
about the
arm.
size of your head. Yes, it's hurt. It's pretty much out of socket. I'm thinking
I can
about a
tell something
lawsuit.
was wrong.
I took pictures of 3 billboards on the way in for the billboard lawyers, because not only did they abuse me emotionally and physically and forced me to eat sugary foods that could hurt my long-term health. I think I have a case, really. In Jefferson County, Alabama, I definitely have a case. Except, well, I'm not going to tell you why the case is faulty.
I think you do better with a donut or two, actually.
You think I'm better with?
Yeah.
I know I'm nicer with coffee. Did I tell you the secret on the coffee? I'm coming back to you, Soldier Boy, but I figured out how to make bad coffee good. You want to know the secret?
Mezcal?
Yeah, and the worm. Put the worm in there, too.
Right.
No, it is, don't do the little things of half and half, the little cups, the little creamers or whatever. If you have a bad coffee, sprinkle a little salt in there,
I've
just a
heard this.
little.
Yes.
And then
Takes the acid away.
put a slab of butter.
Uh-uh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, now I don't know about that. I've done
telling
the
you.
salt thing.
I'm telling you,
reduces the acidity.
just a little salt and a pat of
Somehow.
butter. Real butter, not fake butter, not seed oil butter.
I don't use any fake butter,
real
sir.
butter. Well,
I'm
the
a
problem is the
Southerner.
restaurant that gives you the crappy coffee
Gives you the crappy
gives
butter.
you the crappy butter. So you gotta self supply. You gotta have your own supply chain of the butter. But I'm telling you, that is a secret. Now, people can go online and talk about how, the special forces, they do this, and they put the butter in the coffee, it's brain food and all that kind of stuff. I don't care about all that. It makes bad coffee good.
Okay. Duly noted.
I'm telling you.
If you're fooling with me,
I would not lie to you
okay, I believe you.
at this point in the program.
I'm going to test it.
Other times I could lie, but not on this.
Not on this.
Not
Okay.
on this. I mean,
not
what
about
is butter?
coffee.
Butter is
Not
cream,
about coffee.
right?
Yeah. Right. It is. And it's
It is concentrated.
essence. It's essence. It's
So
cool.
it's super, super good. I'm telling you, just do it.
All right.
So
I'll
look,
do it.
Soldier Boy's a military person. He'll probably
He'll
tell
know.
you they put butter in there for brain power. Soldier Boy, welcome back to the program.
Hey, let me tell you, let me a quick little story about MREs, for example. When I first joined the military in my first deployment out in the desert, and I had an MRE, and it was peanut butter. I didn't know. I opened the peanut butter, and I squeezed it, and its clear oil came out. I was like, what the heck is this? So the next thing I kept squeezing, then the peanut butter came out behind it. And everybody was laughing. I was like, what's so funny? And these guys that were deployed all the time, they're like, he said, Soldier Boy, you didn't know you're supposed to squash the package first and mix the oil and the peanut butter together.
Oh, you got to squeeze it all back in.
Yep.
Well, that was
you
probably
gotta
good
clean it
quality
out in the
peanut butter
package,
they were
that's it.
serving y'all.
I know the oil came out first, and another thing they invented I love was the dehydrated peaches for dessert. It was like a cube, and you could take it out of the little plastic sealed container and add water to it, and it turned into peaches. I got so excited. And during Desert Storm, they used to put a little pack of Tabasco sauce in each little MRE. They don't do that anymore, but I mean, it made anything taste good, you know. But it's just
Wait,
funny some of the things that
Soldier
we
Boy,
ate
Soldier
over there.
Boy. Are you saying that the American military has become so anti-minority that they took out the hot sauce from the MREs?
Yeah, they don't have it in there no
I mean,
more. I've been told
Hillary
the guys that are
Clinton
in right
carries
now,
hot
they-
sauce in her purse.
Ah,
That's why she's so feisty.
Yes. That's insulting on Cinco de Mayo and for other Americans.
Well, let me tell you a little. You know how much that when I was in the green zone in Baghdad, do you know how much that breakfast cost the taxpayers? My breakfast that I ate, my buffet breakfast that I ate.
Oh, how much?
Take a guess.
$20.
$58. 58.
$58? Really?
5-8. Now, what I asked was, remember who Cheney used to own that company? Was it Hildebrand? What was it called?
Halliburton.
Dick Cheney owned that company.
Halliburton.
Okay. Here's the thing about government contracts: you don't have to have the ability to fulfill the contract. All you got to do is subcontract it. So it was a subcontractor of a subcontractor of a subcontractor of a subcontractor, and eventually we had this guy, this company from Libya or Lebanon or somewhere, doing our breakfast, and he says, "I hope you're enjoying that breakfast, Sergeant." I said, "Why is that?" He says, "It cost the taxpayers $58." I said, "You got to be kidding me." He goes, "No, it's been subcontracted out 4 or 5 times. The middleman in the middle or the semi-middle makes all the money on it. Unbelievable. You don't have to. You think, well, I got to have the people, I got to have the logistics, I got to have this. No, you just subcontract it out to somebody else, and they just stroke. I mean, oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
$58.
So much waste. So much waste.
That is crazy.
For
well,
breakfast.
that's Soldier Boy. That's why people love the military-industrial complex. That's why they love when we're sending our boys and girls, our fighting people everywhere, is because there is untold fortunes being made doing that.
Better believe it. The $300
Well, you know
hammer.
why I
Remember
found
that?
out why.
Yeah. Why?
I found out why, though, Scott. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing: is they gave us when I was about 5 years before retiring, they gave us a credit card that you can go ahead and make purchases, and you didn't have to go. It was supposed to save a bunch of costs and overhead and everything and delays if we could buy it locally. Okay.
Okay.
But the catch was, I could buy, for example, this toilet seat that we needed for our building, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and buy it at Walmart. Take my credit card there and purchase it, and it gets audited every quarter. Make
Okay.
sure we ain't buying nothing illegal with the card, okay?
That makes sense.
Well, here's the thing: is the catch was we had to go through GSA first. You know who GSA is? It's a government contract company.
Okay.
We have to go through them first and see if they have it. And if they have it, we have to buy it. Now, I looked in the catalog. The toilet seat was like $82. I couldn't believe it.
Okay.
And then I went to Walmart. The same brand, same company, and everything was $15.85.
Yes. You know what? It sounds like
And
you
they
guys
told
in the
me I
military.
could not buy it.
Sounds like you guys in the military use the same purchasing plan and program that our school systems do.
The government. Really?
Oh, it's bad. It is bad. There's no doubt about it.
You have to buy from one vendor.
Yeah, what they
That's the
say in
problem.
schools is the approved vendor list. So there might be 1 or 2 or 3, but they all have the $80 toilet
That was a big
lids.
scandal we had in Montgomery. Isn't it the scandal we had in Montgomery public school system? People were using cards to get breast enhancements and going to bars and everything.
Well, I mean, those are hard. You can't find those on the list.
No.
We got to take
It's
a
a
break,
whole nother
Soldier Boy.
level.
We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I'm Scott Beason. I appreciate you listening. Did I ever get around? Oh, I got sidetracked on the donut story. Donut Forget, Brian Dawson's podcast, 1819 News, the podcast. I talked to Brian yesterday afternoon. He swung by the international headquarters here of Alabama Unfiltered Radio. We talked for a few minutes about some of the stuff we're trying to do on YouTube, and he was recommending that we do some shorts, some reels, some things that can be loaded up into Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever. We had a little discussion about whether we should broadcast over to Facebook as well. We had decided to stick with YouTube, but there are some questions about, like, some of the things he puts on. He gets way more views over on Facebook than YouTube. And so the question is there some shadow banning going on by YouTube based on your content? I think it's entirely possible. I mean, I don't trust any of these big social media outlets.
Well, there is precedent on that, Scott.
Yes,
So,
no doubt. So maybe we ought to be. But we're going to do what we can to get out to you. We're on today. It looks like it is working somewhat correctly.
Yay.
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure it's working, but no one has told me that it's not working yet. So
If it wasn't working, I would have heard about it.
you would have heard of it by now? Yeah. Okay. Don't forget the number here, 1-800-289-9228, 1-800-289-9228. Now, jumping off what Sky and Soldier Boy were saying, the judge in Washington, D.C., presiding over the Cole Allen effort to assassinate Donald Trump is upset. I think you gathered that. He or she, is it a she?
It is a she, I believe. That's my.
No, it is a he.
Okay.
It is a he.
Well,
Yes. I'll give you the name here in a minute, and then you'll know why you can't tell. A U.S. Judge Scott. Okay, I'm up to 5. I will have insulted 5 people already.
You need a program these days.
They're saying I got a report that says it's working good right now.
Yes.
So check us out. Go to YouTube, search for Scott Beason. You see a little picture of me with a white golf shirt on. Click on that one. You may have to scroll down because there's still things from the day that are in the way. But scroll down, click on that account, and then go to live, and you can listen to us live. And as we add numbers, that should be able to go up and be first on the list eventually, and you'll be able to go right to it. But right now we're in the building stage, so we need you to help us do that. And you can just listen. You don't have to watch it. Just listen to it. It'll be on your phone, streaming. It'll be easy to find, and you'll get the whole show. U.S. judge on Monday apologized. Does apologize still mean the same thing I thought it meant?
In this case?
Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I believe this judge is sorry.
For the legally deficient treatment he has faced in a Washington, D.C. jail. Yes. Including being placed on suicide watch. Oh, no, we put him on suicide watch. Really?
But there's a reason for that, Judge,
where was this judge during the January 6th stuff? Where was this judge worried about the deficient treatment of the January the 6th people? Oh, I think he's going to reference it later, by the way. He was placed on suicide watch, which apparently the judge does not like. He was separated from other inmates. Now, tell me if this is not for public consumption. Now, look, y'all can say I'm cynical, whatever, but I'm going to read you the whole sentence, and you tell me if you think, if this causes your radar to go up, okay? Apologize to the man accused of attempting to assassinate Donald Trump for the, quote, legally deficient treatment he has faced in a Washington, D.C. jail, including being placed on suicide watch, separated from other inmates, and denied a Bible.
Denied a Bible.
Can you believe?
No.
Can you? I can't. No. I can't even. Scott Beason, what are you saying? I'm saying that that's just part of the made-up bullhawk that we're being fed. Are you telling me the guy who decided he was going to kill President Trump has been treated legally deficient because he was denied a Bible? Now, here's the other thing. You're going to have to convince me that this U.S. magistrate is toe up. Isn't that how we say it down here?
She towed down
He's done toe up because
from the flow.
he didn't get a Bible.
Look, Scott, let me just lay it out for you.
Uh-huh.
This judge would pin a medal on that would-be assassin if they could.
You want to know the judge's name?
Please, because I'm confused.
Zia, capital Z-I-A.
Sounds like a female to me.
It does. Zia Faraqui. F-A-R-U-Q-U-I. Faraqui? Faraqui. Zia Faraqui. Are you making fun of somebody's name? No,
No.
I'm reading a story. I do not want to insult the sixth
Trying to
group of
understand.
people already.
Well, it's almost 10, so you're right on schedule.
I'm on schedule.
You're on schedule. Yeah.
U.S. Magistrate Judge Zia Faraqui said he was disturbed by the conditions for Cole Allen, who allegedly fired a shotgun during a foiled attack on Trump and senior officials in his administration. Are we still with allegedly? How much do you have to do not to be allegedly? I'm serious. I know the courts are all into, oh, you better say allegedly, because then if they're innocent, you've been besmirching someone's name. I get it.
That's how it works.
But I promise you, if this guy had allegedly come bursting into Judge Faraqui's courtroom, he wouldn't be allegedly.
And he wouldn't be apologizing.
Judge
for his treatment
Zia
either,
would be
would he?
absolutely sure that he did it.
No doubt.
The judge said the conditions were inappropriate for a person with no criminal history. We got to take another break. Judge
Unbelievable.
Faraqui. We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio, starting off the second half of the show. We appreciate you listening, and let's finish up with this story out of Washington, D.C. I'm looking at the Guardian article written by, they don't even say who it's written by, but they got it from Reuters. The rest of the thing about the federal judge, again, the federal judge who is all worried about Cole Allen is Magistrate Judge Zia Faraqui.
That's how I got female. I read
from
Zia.
Yeah, because you do not appreciate foreign cultures like I do, and
a
therefore
xenophobe.
you
I know.
jumped to a xenophobic conclusion
Dumb
and thought
American.
it was a girl. But no, this is a supposed man who talks like this. Now, the funny thing, the prosecutor, Jocelyn Ballantyne, said that Allen told the FBI agents after his arrest at the site of the White House Correspondents' Dinner that he did not expect to survive the alleged attack.
Thus, suicide watch.
Correct. Right.
Duh.
Death by a police officer would mean. Here's what's funny. The guy who tries to assassinate the president himself knows I'm probably going to die doing this. Guess what? He doesn't die. How do we not? How is he alive?
It's a good question.
I mean, did they say, like, hey, will you please stop? I mean, did they end up tackling him? What finally happened after seeing the scene where he should? Let me ask another question. I got to start this show, this hour off. Should there be female Secret Service agents?
Based on recent history, probably should be a little more vetted. Let's put it that way. I'll let you blow it up, but more vetting
I'm
is
just
definitely
asking the
necessary.
question. I mean, we've seen Butler, Pennsylvania. Remember that?
Yes. Oh, that's what I was referring to in recent history.
Yes, we saw that
just
one.
Abysmal performance.
And then we saw
Couldn't get her gun back in the holster. It's like,
Well, we're not trained to put the gun
horrible.
back in the holster. We're trained to pull the weapon and use it to defend.
She never been to the range in her life, Scott. Maybe on her.
There is
Come
some
on.
value into using a firearm when you're younger. You know what I'm saying? You go to the back pasture with your granddad or your dad, and they're like, okay, put it in the holster, take it out of the holster, do all this kind of stuff. There's no rounds in it. Get used to the daily activity with it instead of this precious, tool that just sits there on the counter and probably has a sensor to make sure it's there, and you walk up and you gotta pass your exam for the federal whatever bureau, and you just pick it up, and then you know what I'm saying? There is value in a comfort level with a weapon. And I believe the lady who couldn't get it back in the holster did not have a comfort level that would come with actually using it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a foreign object.
And then I don't know if those were Secret Service ladies or not who took off running when the guy comes running out with the gun, but they were not headed towards danger. Put it that way. Scott, how dare you say that? Well, I say that because we've watched it. We saw it. And this is what they do to you, okay?
Are you saying that there's not one woman in the world that would run to danger?
No, I didn't say that at all. I did not say that at all. But why is it anytime somebody wants to have a standard, y'all have to come back with, are you saying there's not one? Well, no. But if the vast majority are not, maybe we should be testing in some fashion to make sure that the one that you believe in is the one who's actually doing that job. Just like women in combat. Scott Beason.
Are you saying there's not any women in the world who could have a combat role in the military?
No, I'm not. I'm saying find out the one who can. And if she really, 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 really wants to do that, okay, fine. Now, personally, if I was making the rules, no. But if you find me the one, you find me Helga the Horrible, and have at it. But I'm just saying there's a lot of men who are not wired to run to danger. They don't have the warrior spirit. And then there's far fewer women who are not going to run to danger. And here's the beauty of it, okay? For the people who are upset now, I'm up to, 9 different groups of people, or 8 groups of people I've insulted in an hour.
On schedule.
A woman, many of them, not all, because there are some defective people, will run to danger and will fight like a rabid grizzly bear on crystal meth mixed with maybe some cocaine to defend her own children, okay?
Yes, that's right.
But that same woman who will kill everyone in 100-mile range over her kids, and God bless her for it, I'm for that, will probably run instead of protecting the President of the United States.
Well, there's all kind of things.
Because that's not the way they're wired.
It's not just that. It's go back to the previous Trump assassination when the woman couldn't get her gun back in the holster.
Yes.
Do you remember? And this is the problem with one size fits all, everything is equal government think. When they were trying to cover Trump, he's a tall man. He was head and shoulders above.
His head's still sticking up over
So you
the
need
people.
a large
Yes.
man to cover Trump in
Right.
the Secret Service. It's just, they don't ever look at the facts. They're always looking at the feelings. How does this feel?
How does this make us feel? Is this diverse enough? And I'm like,
people get hurt. People die.
Yes. Just like if you have a military that focuses on DEI instead of on performance and merit, when you really have to go fight the fight, liberalism gets people killed.
Right. All your social engineering doesn't do much when it's time to really get down on the field.
And what's funny is, though, the people who do the social engineering aren't the people who are going to have to fight the fight.
Right.
That's the thing. Somebody said when a liberal actually has to call the firemen, or the emergency services people,
yes,
there is no liberal that hopes that a fat lesbian woman shows up to save them. They're just not. You know who they want?
No.
They want Tom
They want a
Selleck.
big, strong, they want a real fireman.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. They want the man who has been working out and can run 5 miles carrying your butt over his shoulder, who has that look in his eye like, I will fight the demons for you because that's how I am wired. That's who they want. But when everything's nice and everything's peaceful, they want the body positive, female attracted woman of color.
Looks good on their chart.
With AIDS. That's who they want. But not
Yeah,
when
that's
not
for
when
you.
it not when it comes
That's
time.
for you. When your house is on fire,
Yeah,
they can't even pick up the axe and swing it.
Why
But
do the liberal Hollywood people, why do their bodyguards look like freaking Conan? You ever ask yourself that?
only do?
Why do they look like Russian Secret Service?
Because it's serious now.
Because you got to protect them.
Yeah. Laws for thee, not for me.
We got to take
That's
another
for you
break.
peasants,
Oh, my
man.
goodness. I'm having a good time. I hope y'all are enjoying the show. We'll be back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. We appreciate you listening to the show. What happened? Something's weird, Sky?
Your intercom.
I didn't. I mashed it. Okay, mash it better. There you go. Very good. Let's go. Let me finish this and go to simpler days. So, because he's got some more take on this judge. It It is unbelievable. The judge noted that while the allegations against Allen were, quote, extremely serious. You think, Judge? You think?
Tried to assassinate the president.
Judge Farquhar. What's the guy off Shrek? Is that not Farquhar?
Farquhar.
Farquhar. Farquhar compared Allen's treatment with that of people who took part in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol when Trump supporters tried to prevent Congress from certifying Joe Biden's stolen victory. Oh, it might not have said that. I might have said
this judge
stolen.
should be recalled immediately. What?
Farquhar said the defendants in those cases were treated more favorably despite engaging in what the judge called comparable conduct. This guy was out to assassinate the president. People walking through the halls of the Capitol were not out to assassinate. This guy is a Looney Tune.
Yeah.
Listen to what he said. I'm fascinated and disturbed, the judge said. Many Capitol riot defendants who Trump has since pardoned also objected to their treatment in the same Washington jail and were housed in a unit separate from the other inmates. Farquhar ordered a lawyer for the jail to alert him by Tuesday morning when a final decision would be made about the terms of Allen's confinement. Look, in Washington, D.C., I will just about bet you. Do y'all want to take bets on whether or not this guy is found innocent?
It's
in Washington, D.C.? And do you also want to take bets?
They're going to turn him loose with a medal and perhaps even a cash prize. I don't know.
Do you also want to bet that his trial will be speedy as opposed to what they did to the January 6ers?
Why is this judge bringing up J6? What does that case have to do?
Because he is a crazy Marxist leftist. That's why. This is so much show. It's just unbelievable. But let's go. Maybe Simpler Days has got an insight that we don't have. Simpler Days, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Scott. I bet when he finds that guy not guilty, I bet he invites him on the judicial circuit to give speeches about his incarceration and how he was treated.
Oh, it would not surprise me.
He'll be on The View next.
Do you know how old this judge is, Scott?
I do not. Can I look? Do I need to look him up, or do you know?
No, I just wonder. He might be an old school judge and not wanting that Bible brought in, because in the old days they used to slip the old hacksaw blade in the Bible, and.
Oh, he wants one. It's one of the things the judge is upset that he didn't get. So this is a liberal judge who wants me to believe that he's upset somebody didn't get a Bible. My guess is he'd be one of the first people in line to say, hey, you better not be giving any Bibles to any of these elementary school kids.
Yeah, and if they allowed him to commit suicide, which he said he was going to do probably by cop, then the judge would be the first one to say, why didn't y'all put him on suicide watch? Y'all wanted him killed.
Absolutely.
So you can't have both ways. But you were talking about firearms training and female officers. One of the great equalizers that I saw on the firing range was you know what it was?
What?
It was the Remington Wingmaster 12-gauge shotgun model A70. And you would see people that hadn't hunted or didn't have any experience with firearms, especially women. They would take that 12-gauge shotgun, instead of backing it against their shoulder when they were attempting to shoot it, qualifying, they would stick it up against their jaw.
Whoa. That's going to leave a mark. Whoa.
And it's going to rattle your jaw. It's going to rattle your head all the way down to your toes.
We'll do that, but
Another equalizer is when they tried out to ride a motor. And I saw one little girl, that big Harley fell down, and she was trying to get it up. And then finally she just gave up and sat down on it and started crying. And that's the reason most agencies now have gone away from motors, because they just don't have the body strength to lift them up if they fall, fall over.
So wait. But, Simpler Days. Are you telling me we got away from motorcycle cops not because we didn't like motorcycle cops, but because motorcycles aren't conducive to female cops?
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have the body strength to lift them up. I mean, if they go down on them or they drop them, they just can't pick them up. And I mean, it's like Montgomery. We had about 50 officers assigned to the traffic division, riding motors, issuing citations, and monitoring traffic, and now we have probably less than 3, and they only use them at parades. But I mean, it's just there's certain things you can hide, and those are 2 of them right there.
Gracious.
But I get people send me videos from all over the country. I used to be in training all over the country, and they send me videos from different agencies where officers, and it's called the George Floyd effect.
Okay.
And just like those, you said, I wonder why that guy wasn't dead, why he wasn't shot, why he wasn't killed. That's what's happening all over the country, and these officers are hesitating. Instead of taking a kill shot, they're thinking instead of reacting.
Right.
And it's happening all over the country. But anyway, y'all have a good day, Scott.
Hey, Simpler Days, I appreciate it. Fascinating story. I mean, look, Scott, I don't understand why we no longer have the ability to tell people, hey, remember when we used to tell people, to little kids, you can do whatever you set your mind to.
Right. You can grow up to be president.
That was a lie. Why
Yeah.
did we tell people that? Now, I had heard one time, you have the ability to do whatever it is that God has planned for your life. And it's going to be greater than anything you can imagine. But you can't go and tell little Scott, hey, you have the ability to be the greatest NBA basketball player of all time. You know why? Because gravity is strong in this one. Even when I could jump, even when I could dunk, it took effort. Okay? So I didn't have, at least I don't think I had the ability to ever play in the NBA. Do I have the ability to be the world's greatest neurosurgeon who could do 20 hours of surgery, meticulous, detailed surgery? Probably not. Could I be the greatest accountant? No, I don't want to look at numbers forever and ever. That's not my gift. But we tell people things that aren't true, and then we don't want to tell someone no. So you have a 5'4" girl, high school girl, and she's like, I want to be Rambo. I want to be Special Forces. You remember the movie? What was the movie with the goofball girl? What's her name? G.I. Jane? Who was that? Little black-headed girl that was supposed to be, she was in Ghost or whatever. What was that girl's name? What's that lady's name?
I can see her face.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But-
Hollywood's my week.
But why do we tell people, yeah, you can grow up and be a police officer when you can't stop anyone?
We don't want to hurt their self-esteem.
That's what I'm
Scott.
saying. And we get people hurt. There's these videos of these lady police officers just getting mashed by criminals. Now, who's responsible for her being hurt? Well, some of it's her, but also some of it is all the people who said, yes, you can do this. They sent her out to be possibly crippled for life because they didn't want to hurt her feelings. I don't understand what y'all leftists are doing. We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. We appreciate you listening to the show, and let's get out to some of your phone calls. We were just getting along here. Just what are we up to? 9 different groups I've insulted
so far,
today.
no,
9.
If you're scoring at home, that's 9 ethnic
9.
groups and minorities that you've oppressed so far today.
Colonized and oppressed for Cinco de Mayo. So have a shot of the
10.
non-worm infested drink.
Yes, mezcal. That's right.
Let's go. That would be the worm one, right?
Mezcal light.
What's the difference? I don't know anything about alcohol. So what is mezcal and what is tequila?
Tequila comes from the agave.
The agave.
Plant,
What's mezcal
yes.
from?
It's from the mezcal plant.
Oh, it's a different kind of plant.
Yes.
So did people down there, I guess people all over the world have just taken about every plant somewhere in the history of man and said, hey, put it in a jar or a pot over there, let it sit and rot, and then we'll taste of it and see what it's like. And if it tastes really bad, we'll drink more of it and see if it makes us go into the spirit world. And then if it does, it's A-okay. Because I can't think of a way that we figured out all these fermented things are good.
Somebody had to try it.
Somebody
And
had to
sometimes
test it.
They didn't survive. 'Twas a brave man that ate the first oyster. That's for sure.
He just pried that joker open and said,
I guess he
"Oh,
was hungry,
look at that
you know.
big old wad of
He
snot."
probably did it on a bet. You know.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
You think the
Bet
first
you
guy
won't
was
eat
like,
that.
"Hey, can I cook it?" And they're like, "No, you can't cook it."
I think they ate oysters before they.
Before they ever cooked them,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, they were hungry. Sure.
You know when they showed the mound people in Alabama, and there was like the mounds made of 40 million giant river-based mussels.
Yeah.
Did those shells have scorch marks, or were they just eating giant? I mean, those things were giant, Sky. That's
They
like
still are.
you're paying a big old. It's
They
a
still
not
are,
not
man.
a little wad of mucus that you can swallow
We
like at the
popped a few
beach.
open
I'm
on the
talking
river.
about big chunk of gunk.
Yeah. Like I said, brave man or a hungry man.
Very, very hungry. Let's go to Red Top. Red Top, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Morning.
Red Top. How are you?
Yes, and I am hoping to go to Moundsville, Alabama.
Yeah,
This
you
is,
need to. You'd like that.
Have you been?
I have been to Moundville, yes.
Wow. These are the bottom corner pyramids of the giant Mississippian cultures.
Mm-hmm. That's what they say.
Pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no surprise, you know, remember what I told you 5 million years ago, most of Alabama was underwater. So no doubt there's plenty of shells. All you got to do is go to Catoma Creek. You got shark's teeth and seashells all over the place. Not to mention, half of Montgomery's built on shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
So the Indians probably had plenty to eat. But I find that really fascinating. And the Mississippian culture was very advanced. They died out before the Europeans got here, pretty much.
Yeah,
What
did they say, Red Top, was the demise of the – because they clearly had large cities. They had the mounds. They had the pyramids, earthen mounds, all that kind of stuff. So they had a real society. Why did they die out?
So, same as South America, drastic climate changes at certain times.
Uh-huh.
Most likely part of the Ice Age, the end of the Ice Age, and we've had little miniature Ice Ages. We had one in 1776, if you know. Mm-hmm. Remember, Valley Forge was an Ice Age, basically. Okay. So it was most likely environmental reasons. Just goes to show you, all of our environment now is no different than it's ever been. You know what I mean? It's the same old story. Now, quickly going over to Washington, D.C., I told this to Sky, and I don't know if people are even aware of this. The federal government has no jails, not one. They have prisons,
yes,
but they have no jails. So they go to a private prison for anything that happens. That's what happened with the Capitol, the January 6th. They went to that private prison. It's one of the worst jail. The D.C. jails is some of the worst in the whole country, and have a reputation for that. So that's kind of how this happened with the judge because they didn't give him his right to see an attorney. And, no, he did not have the right because he tried to shoot the president and all that kind of stuff. But that's what the story is behind that. And Judge Napolitano this morning pretty much took that other judge's side and say, hey, they need to put him somewhere besides D.C. And I was stunned that the federal government does not have one jail in Washington, D.C. It's all private. And they're known for being ruthless. Now, second of all, the toughest, and you'll remember this once I remind you again, there's a whole section of Kurdistan that is controlled by a women army. These are big, bad, and the meanest women on the planet, known as the most vicious female fighting force in the world. Nobody goes in there. No Muslims, no men, no nowhere. And so there are women like that. And I was telling Sky this too. I would feel much more comfortable being able to talk a man out of shooting me than a woman because I don't feel no mercy. You know what I mean?
I could
No,
vouch for that.
so you're saying that when women decide it's time to kill everybody, that there's a good
It's too
chance of
late.
it happening.
Yeah, it's too late.
I would say so. I wouldn't say there's going to be an extension to this ceasefire or something. I say it's a hardcore decision because their survival instincts are much. For obvious reasons, their survival instincts dominate their psyche. And if they think their survival is threatened, they're going to take care of it more so than a man would. So, but anyway.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we have a
fighters.
combat situation, we will send you with the ladies unit.
Well, I'll tell you, I have an ex-girlfriend who's a master sergeant and crew chief for one of these F-35s that just flew over. And by the way, I heard this Montgomery bunch was deployed to the Middle East, our National Guard unit.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't heard that yet.
Not yet. I'll check into
I
it.
think some of them have. A military person told me that, but one just flew over here. It was booking. And as Max, she's a great artist and did some artwork for Bosch. She did some album covers for us. She has her artwork on her F-35.
Oh, cool. We'll have to check that out. Red Top, I appreciate
Yes,
you.
sir. Roll Tide, go Trump. See y'all.
So let's read. I found an article, and we'll just kind of piece some of this together about they're called the YPJ, which is the Women's Protection Units of the Kurdish. These are the Kurdish female warriors, highly organized all-female militia that served as a critical frontline force against ISIS in Syria, founded in 2013. They are now look. Now again, not doubting any word of this. I'm just reading it, critically analyzing what it says, how it is stated, how it is worded, and from whom are the words being said. Because what Red Top said is what we think, right? Because we were fed hey, these women are bad A. Look at them. That's what we were fed. That's what Americans got. They are motivated by both regional defense and a strong ideological commitment to gender equality and women's empowerment. Now, I want you to ask yourself, if a group of Kurdish female warriors, freaking Amazons, and you said, what are y'all fighting for? Do you think they said gender equality and women's empowerment?
I'm guessing no.
I'm going with no, because even like Red Top was like, they had put in a bad spot. They're fighting for their lives. But somebody decided we needed to be fed this story of the women warriors fighting for gender equality and women's empowerment. You want to know what article? You know what publication that's from before we go to break?
The Atlantic.
The Times of Israel.
Oh, no. I should have been my first guess.
Well, it's the Middle East. Yeah, you got to get some leftists leaning in the Middle East. Who do you go to? Them. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Well, you know what? I hope we didn't. I don't know. We might have run the commercials onto the YouTube, but we'll see. We'll know. YouTube will tell us if we have a violation or whatever.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
They will let us know. So any of our advertisers that are in the River region, you get an extra bonus today. If it's on. Except we're probably playing music in the background over it, so it'll be unrecognizable, but it's all good. Let's go back to Thunder. Did Thunder stick with us, or did she finish up her?
She is still on the board.
Thunder, are you still here?
I am still here.
Hey, Thunder, I didn't realize it was the top of the hour break, but I'm glad you stayed, and I wanted you to be able to finish your last couple of thoughts, and I appreciate you on this Cinco de Mayo.
I appreciate it very much. What I was going to end with is there are things that women are very, very good at that men don't do. A good woman warrior would have watched that man check in, noted what his schedule was, noted his level of luggage, and then she would have watched while he checked out this hotel.
Okay.
She would have picked him up because she is going to be more attuned to what people are doing in the background than most of the men do. Most of the men are going to look at him and say, yep, that's a wormy little dude. We're not going to fool with him. And they'd have passed him on by. A woman warrior would have looked at him and said, there's something going on there, and I don't like it.
I am a firm believer, Thunder, in women's intuition. I just frankly am. And women usually have a better – now, when they're turned on and tuned in, absolutely. But now sometimes there's times when, a guy will see somebody and be like, man, he is up to no good. And she's like, no, he's really sweet. So you gotta fine tune that intuition. But no, I'm with you. And y'all notice things like that person's wearing, no, he's up to no good.
Yeah, I think that when the men notice the guys like that, that's when you're looking at personal relationships. And you're right, there are a lot of guys that are very attuned to personal relationships. But when it's just a general thing, a woman warrior is going to look around. Not all women know the same thing, a woman warrior. Big difference. A woman warrior is going to look around the room, and she's going to peg every person that should not be there. She's going to peg every person that is looking furtively. She'll watch their eyes and see what long before a male will. It's not that we do not need the males. We do. But we also need the women warriors that are true warriors.
And use people according to their strengths.
Very much so.
I'm with you. Well, I agree.
So.
Thunder?
You do that, and you'll have a tremendous force.
Thunder, I like it.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
No, well said. I appreciate you calling in.
Women warriors out there, thank you so very much for what you do. Men warriors out there, thank you so very much for what you do. But I do recognize that there are two differences, and they are both strong, but they need to be used in the appropriate context. I would never try and pick somebody up and walk off with them. But if you're laying on a roof, I'm gonna take you out every time.
Thunder, God bless you. Thanks for the call.
Good work, guys.
What?
If Thunder's got you in her sights,
you're in big trouble. Sky told me during the break that when Thunder's mad at me again, if she shows up in the parking lot, zig and zag.
Yeah. Make
left, to the right, to the left, and not in rhythm, or she'll catch you on the turn.
Yeah.
It's got to be random. Oh my goodness gracious! But
be where she ain't.
What she said. Why is what Thunder said is so true. Is plug in people to do the jobs that their strengths are the best.
You're profiling again, Beason.
I know.
You can't use common sense.
And it breaks the. But I want to be. I want
the world to be perfect and everything to be equal, and it's not. It just
doesn't
not.
matter what we
wasn't
want.
meant to be.
It matters what is.
That's right.
And I just don't understand how people do. I tell you, one of the other ones that's crazy is when people say things like, 'cause, look, ask women, ask your wife, all right, after she's had to be in a meeting at the church with a bunch of women, okay, or she works with a bunch of women. Ask her if, hey, do you really think the world would be a safer place if all the leaders of the world were women? Because remember, that's a big thing. That's one of the feminist things,
There'd be peace.
that we would not have war if
Right.
women were in charge.
Heard that.
But now you're going to have war in the workplace. You're going to have war in the gym. You're going to have war in the high school band. You're going to have war on the cheerleading team. You're going to have war on the college girls soccer team. You're going to have war
The PTA meeting.
at the
Don't forget
PTA
that.
meeting.
That's a good one.
How dare her? I mean, you know.
What did
Church's
you
chicken
say? Down the street because I saw it on YouTube.
You're gonna have weaves rolling everywhere. What was the tumbleweeds?
Tumbleweeds.
You're gonna have all that. And I saw the meme. It was a black, not black, a female comedian who said, "No, we would have war. Just no one would know why we were fighting it." Does anybody know why we're fighting this war? No.
Well,
but I'm mad.
Negotiations would go something like this. Well, you ought to know what we're mad about.
You know what you did. We're going to bomb you some more until you figure out what you did.
Just do whatever you want to do then. Wow. Okay, I think we're up to 12
10,
now.
12.
Scott. Okay, that's good.
But I just, and I mean, she was so right. Guys,
those shoes.
Guys don't notice things. My wife would be the one like, "Hey, do you see him? He's not even supposed to be in here. Why? Look at the kind of shoes he's wearing. You don't wear those shoes with that unless you can't. He came in from something else. That's the kind of stuff women will note. That observant nature. So,
no doubt. That
again,
women's intuition, 100%. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But time and place.
You know how many times my wife has been like, "Hey, it'd be about one of our children. I'll just say that, one of our children. I don't think they're telling us the whole story." And I'm like, "Of course they're telling us the whole story. It makes perfect sense. Why would there be any more to the story?" 3 days later, there was more to that story. Yeah, because she knows. She just knows.
That's why men and women worked best together.
Yes.
They have strengths and weaknesses, and they complement each other.
Yeah, our strength and weakness complementing each other was she figured out when the lie was committed, and I do the beating.
It sounds like some revelation we're talking about here. It's the way it's always been. People used to know these things.
Yeah, but they don't anymore.
Somehow.
Well, it's because there's so many families that don't have dads, so there's not a comparison of the dad and a mom together, and everything in the schools is all feminism all the time, every day, except for the part where they got the men who are now women, so you got to get the transgenderism in there. But, I mean, everything is so slanted that we just don't understand the world anymore, and golly, I want to play this one comedian lady, but I think I'm just going to drop it. We're going to go to Clark on the other side. We got to take a real quick break. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Hey, don't forget you can check us out over on YouTube streaming. It's not the easiest to find right now, but give it a shot. Go to YouTube, search for Scott Beason, Beason, or Scott Beason Show, and hopefully it will be one of the things that pops up. You may have to scroll down a little bit, click on the little icon that has my picture, and then tell it live, and you'll find the program. Like we said, as more and more people listen, it will come to the top eventually.
Now, what if people don't know what you look like? How will they know it's your picture, Scott?
Well, all the rest of them are like news articles. Like I'm talking to somebody, I'm
Look
being
for
interviewed.
The picture of the white guy.
Yeah, I've got devil's horns on.
Right,
it's
right,
NBC or somebody that wants to come down and go, oh, I can't believe blah 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 blah. I mean,
I thought you might need me to describe what you look like. So
I had to
volunteer for that. If you
I had to
assistance there.
Relive some of when I was trying to go and see why people were having a hard time with it, because they just don't make it easy. YouTube,
they do not.
They do not make it easy to find. But we're going to get over that hump with y'all's help. So go check it out. Go listen to one of the programs later. If you missed part of the program, go back. There is an archive there. But I'm a white guy, white hair, with a white T-shirt. I mean, a white golf shirt on. And but Scott, every show looks the same. Yeah, because I have decided, at least most of the time, to use the radio commentator's robe, much like a judge, like a federal judge. So I have my black pullover golf 3/4 zip, which will be my uniform for most days. Because if you look, I'll show you on there, I wore a T-shirt from a motorcycle place.
Nice. Classy.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one. It's got a gear on it and the whole 9 yards. You can't beat that. Let's go out to Clark. Clark, welcome to the program.
Hey, Scott. So,
hey, Clark.
Do you get to listen to the bumper music that I get to listen to while I'm on
No, I don't listen to it much at all now, especially. But what you got?
So, well, I got to wonder, Scott, what is the annual salary, or what was the annual salary for an Arizona Ranger? He rode into town.
Uh-huh.
Texas Red had been in 20 personal duels, killed 20 men, and figured the Arizona Ranger was going to be 21. The Arizona Ranger's like, well, we're going to do this. You're going back with me alive or dead. I just got to wonder, how much did those guys get paid?
Do you think that was what in 1901? The Arizona Rangers were generally known. They were authorized in 1901, and the salary for a Ranger private was $55 a month.
That's pretty good back then.
Mm. The sergeant got $75 a month.
Well, reckon he got promoted when he shot Texas Red. I don't know how that worked.
He was probably already a sergeant for them to send him for Texas Red.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could handle a moving target, one that was going to shoot back.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the mental and physical conditioning had taken place there where he was ready for that engagement. So just thought that was kind of interesting. Hey, yesterday, I mentioned that article, and I did send it to you, but I got to looking at it more. There are 148 seats in the House of Representatives with racially gerrymandered districts. The Democrats hold 122 of those seats. You know how many total they hold right now, Scott? 212.
Okay, I was going to say 210, so 212. So a half, more than half of their seats are racially gerrymandered in order to elect someone based on their race and, i.e., their political party.
They've got 100. The way I'm doing the math, they got 100. No, they don't. Oh my gosh! this is terrible. They got 90 seats that are not racially gerrymandered, Scott. Now, it gets worse because they created their sanctuary cities and states where they could concentrate the illegals so they could count them in the 2020 census, and they get increased representation in those areas.
Yeah.
And they still have to cheat to steal elections.
Yes.
We're not 50-50. We're not 60-40, Scott. We're 70-30 if we're not 80-20.
I don't disagree with you, but once they have been able to cheat for multiple decades in a row,
yes,
you end up with situations like we have where a tremendous number of the people under 40 years old believe that socialism is a wonderful economic model, that abortion is a God-given right to be fought for at every turn, that white males are the scourge not only of this country but of the entire planet and need to be erased, made extinct. I mean, all those things gradually stick, and based on the numbers you're giving me from the U.S. House of Representatives and how many of those are created by the courts to make sure that Democrats are elected, this long-term strategy has been very, very successful to usher in the decline of the republic.
Well, and you know, we're starting to see accountability. We're starting to see decisions with the Supreme Court. I think things are starting to turn around. Now, I got to thinking about something else.
Okay.
The whole Iran, China, is this justified thing?
Mm-hmm.
What do we call the generation that fought World War II? What do we call them?
The greatest generation.
The greatest generation. And don't get me wrong. I think rightfully so. Okay.
Okay.
I do. Defeated Nazism.
See, I don't necessarily think they're the greatest, because I think the founding generation is the greatest generation, but they get to be called the founding generation. So this one can be the greatest generation.
There you go. Now, what if, Scott, if we're going to do the what if game, what if instead of appeasement, somebody that had as much gumption as Barney Fife, when Adolf Hitler had written a manifesto about how he planned to take the world over,
okay,
and then started doing it, what if instead of appeasement, somebody had been willing to fight that dragon from Jump Street? How much better would the world have been if 100 million people not died and the destruction that took place didn't happen? How much better would things have been?
I guess the answer is better, a lot better.
A lot better, yeah.
Okay.
Now, did for all intents and purposes Iran have a manifesto? They've not been bashful about they're going to dominate the planet. They're going to reestablish the caliphate.
Yeah.
Have they denied their pursuit of nuclear weapons?
No, they have not.
Are they going to quit doing it?
No.
How much better a place is the world because we did not fight a nuclear war with them? Now, I personally, the way I'm looking at this, I think the Iran conflict is a step towards stopping China from taking over the planet.
I can argue that one better, because China definitely has moved across the globe.
Yes.
The one of my hang-ups with the whole Iran's going to rule the world thing is I want them to rule something outside of or try to rule something outside of their borders before I'm totally convinced that they're out for ruling the world.
Out of his cave before that could happen.
Do what now?
they had to get the 12th imam to come out of his cave.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But you know what I'm saying. We get fed a lot of news that's not necessarily true all the time that helps us go spend, what was it? Was it Soldier Boy that said his breakfast in Iraq was $58?
Yes, that was Soldier Boy.
Yeah, so, I mean, when there's a lot of money to be made, we at least got to put it through a filter of, hey, how much of this is true and how much of it's we just wish it was true.
Well, considering what they tried to charge me for a Coca-Cola in Egypt about 1980, I could see a $58 breakfast.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we got to take a break. Clark, you're welcome to stick with us, but we'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. We appreciate you listening. The number here, 1-800-289-9228, 1-800-289-9228. So I'm trying to figure out which is the more interesting of the two stories, and I think we'll go with this one over here first, and we'll have time for the other one. 60 Minutes, Joel Abbott has a story. You can find it over at Not the Bee. 60 Minutes warns that white nationalists. Now, before I even get to that, we all are familiar with natural disasters. And we've seen the videos from places, at least rural places, Texas, Louisiana, southern Mississippi, panhandle of Florida, other places, the Carolinas. after hurricanes hit, these big natural disasters, who are the people who, the majority of the people who actually go and help? What was the name of the Navy, where the guys bring their boats and they go and they ride around, they help get people out of the flooded areas and save the dogs, and what was the Citizens Navy, the something another Navy, I can't remember what
Cajun Navy?
What was it called, Joey?
Cajun Navy?
The Joey Carter. The Cajun Navy.
Yeah, I think it was the Cajun.
It was the Cajun Navy. Mm-hmm. And you have a tornado hits in Alabama. Maybe it's in the river region. Maybe it's coming up through Jasper and was it Oak Grove and all that. I mean, you just ride it on a rock. A tornado's coming through there. And then who comes out with chainsaws galore, and they're cleaning off people's houses and clearing the roads and the whole 9 yards? It's mostly a bunch of rural Christian white folks. That's pretty much it. Now look, they are the one. There's not a bunch of people in downtown Blue Dot City with a chainsaw in their apartment. That's not the case. They're not out there where the disaster necessarily is. They're in the city. They're surrounded asphalt, concrete, all the way top. They might can see the sun part of a day. So who shows up at these natural disasters? The Cajun Navy, all these groups. Usually Christian white folks, rural Christian white folks, and a bunch of suburban Christian white folks. I mean, I know a number of churches that have trailers and barbecue grills and specific things so that when there is a natural disaster, they can go out and help people, which is great, because the government cannot manage to do all that kind of stuff. And then lo and behold, so can we agree to that before we take the premise of what 60 Minutes took? 60 Minutes reports, this is their Twitter feed, after natural disasters, white nationalists, militias, and conspiracists often arrive offering help, but they also want to recruit and improve their image. Watch the full 60 Minutes report. Here's part of one of the things they say. A pattern has emerged in recent years in which malicious conspiracists and white supremacists show up to hard-hit communities as they did in Texas, offering help. This is one of the most astounding things I've ever heard. Joey, did y'all do this story? Have you done this story?
No, this is crazy.
Says, as usual, 60 Minutes doesn't define their terms. I've been told, this is the person writing it. Let me make sure I give them some credit who wrote this story. Joel Abbott. He says, I've been told I'm a conspiracist for thinking men can't become women, for example, and that I'm a white supremacist because I believe gay BLM communism is bad. The only definition 60 Minutes gives before jumping into images of Hurricane Helene in 2024 is that these racist conspiracists, which is a new word to me, conspiracists?
Conspiracists.
Yeah, I thought, what happened to conspiracy theorist?
That's old hat.
That's
now
old. This is new. We got to have
like
cysts.
Well, they're turning into snakes as we speak.
These racist conspiracists tell people that they can't trust the government. So you're there helping somebody, okay? And they're like, hey, I think I'm going to contact FEMA, and they'll probably come over, and they're like, whoa, just let us finish this up, or at least get it to the point where you can use your property, maybe get your car in and out and stuff, because you can't trust those cats in the government to ever actually show up. And 60 Minutes decides that, which I've made up in my mind, is some sort of terrible thing. They've been called disaster tourists who are out to sow doubt in government, soften their own image, and gain followers. So let me get this straight. Those rural, mostly white, not all white, but rural, usually Christian people who are out, hey, let's go help these people because they've just lived through a complete disaster. They're not really there to help, Joey. They are there to sow doubt in the government, soften their own image. Hey, you know what? I'm going to go help those people in Texas. I'm going to drive from Montgomery, Alabama, from Birmingham, Alabama, with a trailer. We're going to barbecue for people that we don't know, who don't even know where my hometown is. They don't know where Hertzahatchee is. And we're going to be nice to them so that they'll think white Christian people from Alabama are nice. That's our goal. That's our strategy. I'm going to pick you up on the way, Joey, and you and I can go.
Well, and like, talk about conspiracy theory. Like, this is quite the thing. You got to think of their 60 Minutes target audience was the dying liberal boomer, and it just gives them the excuse to be like, well, I heard on the news that
yes,
they're just no good. They're racist. They
I knew
all the stuff.
I knew those people didn't really care about anybody. They're down there. They're just helping so that everybody will go. I mean, what are they gonna say? Golly geez, those white nationalists are A-OK. I mean, is that?
No. And I really don't care if somebody gets my power back on and feeds me. I don't care if you're whatever you are. Now, I mean, if it gets to cult behavior, like you're trying to get my wife to sleep with you in the name of God, then no, I think get off my property. But like I don't care what you are, whether you're an atheist or a Seventh-day Adventist. Thank you for the help.
Listen to so they've got some facts though. So Dissident Soaps is on Twitter X, and this is what they posted in response to 60 Minutes. Has your home been destroyed by a natural disaster? The people coming to help you are probably white nationalists. So I went and looked up what is the mainstream media's definition of a white nationalist. Now, okay. I know a lot of people listening to this program will absolutely positively say, well, I'm definitely not a white nationalist. Based on analysis from major media outlets, civil rights organizations like the SPLC, yeah, they're famous right now, the SPLC and the ADL, and academic experts, that means people from colleges, right?
Yeah.
Commonly cited in the news, the mainstream media generally defines a white nationalist as an individual who believes that white identity should be the organizing principle of Western civilization and that white people should maintain a demographic majority and political economic dominance in historically white nations. Now, that was a long way around to say that it is anybody who says, hey, Europe and America were white, and we think it's probably a good idea that they stay white. That makes you a white nationalist, according to AI, mainstream media, and they reference the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League.
And they smuggled in, it's interesting, I think the vast majority of the folks would say, yeah, let's keep a majority population like white, the ancestors of, say, Ireland and England and traditionally the United States, would not agree with the first thing they said, where the organizing principle is white identity.
No.
No, that's not the organizing principle at all. It's called good civic philosophy and Christianity.
Yes, and it's a place where that's been very welcoming to others, but you start digging into the definition, and it says there's an anti-immigrant and nativist stance. The ideology often features hostility toward non-white immigrants, multiculturalism, and interracial relationships, blaming these factors for the perceived decline of white culture. White nationalist versus now. So then you go through all that. Your high school kid's already written a report using that. Then it starts giving you the caveats of, well, there's some analysts who think these things. Whites, it's not really a supremacy thing. It's look, hey, this is the way the culture and the nation was. Let's don't just turn it all upside down and change it into something it never was. Let's not try to be the new India, the new Ghana. Let's don't do that. Let's don't be the new Middle East. Then all of a sudden people are like, wait a minute, I might think that. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. Golly bum, the day is already over. We got Joey Clark, who's going to be, he's got his show coming up. And this 60 Minutes article is just a fascinating thing on them warning that white nationalists help people after natural disasters to advance their racist agenda. Now, that is a low blow, because the people like the Cajun Navy, the people that you and I both know who go out and help people, some of those people take vacation to go and help other folks, is just, I mean, they deserve all the credit in the world. And this whole idea that they're only down there to recruit you or recruit someone to a racist organization. So you have to ask, well, so was there anybody where they could say this group is doing it, okay? Mm-hmm. They finally named a single group among the tens of thousands of volunteers that was a white supremacist group, some group called the Active Club. You ever heard of the Active Club, Joey?
I've not heard of the Active Club.
Now, you would know. I mean, I would know.
I would think we know.
I
mean, look at us.
We would know exactly who, and we're never, I mean, we don't even know this. It says they have 90 chapters. It's been described as one of the country's fastest growing white supremacist networks that are anti-Semitic, anti-immigrant, and anti-democracy. These guys are actual Nazi wannabes. But again, it says that 60 Minutes paints with a broad brush. President John Adams and most of the founding fathers were also anti-democracy, as well as most Republicans who believe in the republic, not the democracy. The majority of conservatives also would like mass deportations. So I think what we should take away from this is 60 Minutes is trying to do everything they can to attack conservatives, to attack anyone who is America first, to attack people who voted for Donald Trump, to attack anyone who believes these things. And they can use these, and it's really what they're doing with the whole white nationalist term, because they want to be able to say, they want to be able to teach people, look, if you have any, I'll give you what it used to be, Joey. If you remember back, you're old enough to remember. You remember when this was a terrible term. You were a right-wing Christian fundamentalist.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And people would be like, you would say, hey, are you a right-wing Christian fundamentalist? Oh, absolutely not. No. I'm not. I am not a right-wing Christian fundamentalist. Oh, you're not, really? Well, so what do you believe? And then they would start giving you the doctrine from their church or whatever, and I'm like, you, my friend, are a right-wing Christian fundamentalist. Yes. But they had been taught to say, no, I'm not. And why were they taught that? So that when somebody gets on television or somebody's on the radio and they espouse something that makes sense to us, and we're like, hey, I think I agree with Joey. I think I agree with Scott. That's a really good point. Then 60 Minutes can come on and go, Scott, the right-wing Christian fundamentalist, and you're like, I definitely don't agree with a word he says.
All right.
That's what they're doing with white nationalists now, is that someone who says, hey, you know what, I think it's a good thing if we don't replace all the white people in America, if we don't make them a minority, if we don't try to run them into extinction, that we think, hey, there ought to be a place where white people can say, hey, here's a majority white country. The good thing about us is we're like, hey, yeah, if you want to live here with us in our Christendom, great. We love you. God bless you. You're on our team. We're all together. Common culture. You be with us. We're all Americans. That is where we are. But they want to be able to say, hey, these people are so bad. They're only helping you because they're trying to get you in the club. That's how bad it is. Joey, I appreciate your help. And
appreciate you.
We got to take a break until tomorrow. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be back as soon as we can. 21 hours. See y'all.